The content you're about to enjoy comes from the archives of The Best You. We're devoted to the very best in personal development, with a platform and resources dedicated to inspiring and changing people's lives. At The Best You, we work with the world's leading writers and trainers on the evolution of the self, and people whose journeys have been affected by their work and words. For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co. Aaron Young. Aaron Young is a lifelong entrepreneur and trusted advisor for business owners. He is a creator of the Unshackled Owner, a program for entrepreneurs who want to build a business that works harder for them than they have to work for it. Aaron is the chairman and CEO of Laughlin Associates, a 44-year-old company that has helped over 100,000 entrepreneurs start, grow, and profit from their business. This has given Aaron an unusually powerful advantage on which to observe common mistakes and successes in business. His clients range from Main Street companies to America's largest yacht broker, from medical professionals to manufacturers. He's 34 years starting and operating in 3 multi-million-dollar businesses, as well as his tenure as an officer for a public traded multi-million national company sets him apart from the crowd as a voice of real world knowledge and authority. My work with Aaron. Well, Aaron has spoken at several of the expos, at Best You Expo a few years ago, and in Long Beach and in London, and he's speaking in London again. But apart from that, he's just a really nice guy. He's a genuine guy. You'll see through the interview that I thoroughly enjoy speaking to him. He is so knowledgeable, so down to earth. He's obviously a very wealthy man who tells me, I remember when I spoke to him a few years ago, telling me that he hadn't been to his company for 2 years. How great is that? So he walks his talk. He knows what he's talking about. I personally have used his services and the services of Laughlin, so I highly recommend him. And I highly recommend you listen to his talk, because if you are an entrepreneur, if you're in business, Aaron has much wisdom. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy. All the best. Okay. Well, welcome everyone, and thank you so much for being here today, and welcome to Inspiring People and Going Global. And today I've got the pleasure of having a quick chat with my friend Aaron Scott Young, who's a Chief Strategy Officer for entrepreneurs and business owners with the expertise to quickly get to the heart of complex issues, seeing solutions and helping to illuminate a path to forward progress. Now, I will obviously ask Aaron to introduce himself much better than that. My experience is that I've met Aaron through many mutual friends a few years ago, and since I met him, he's just a very knowledgeable man who is very down to earth, who is tremendously experienced, and having coincided with him in quite a few places where we've both spoken or he's been speaking at, he's a phenomenal speaker. He's a phenomenal speaker with a great voice, and I'm just delighted to have Aaron here today to share his story. Thank you for being here, Aaron.
Yeah, what a pleasure to be here with you and to be talking about all the stuff you're doing with The Best You. It's such a tremendous program, and I'm super excited to be coming back to England here in a couple of weeks to be with you guys.
So tell me, define what you do and how you help. You help people, but you help entrepreneurs. How would you define?
Yeah, I started my first company that had employees and a payroll back in 1983. And I've been growing or buying and fixing companies ever since then. I started a bunch of companies, did well, got recruited by a big multinational public company to be their VP of sales. So I went in and did that for 3 years, 93 to 96. And I made so much money in the stock that I came out of there at the end of 96 and started buying up companies that were in distress or that served some purpose for me. And I just kept doing that and growing. And then a few years ago, I turned 50 years old, and I thought, there are all these young people that are coming up, or so many people that I see that are kind of slaves to their business. They're just all consumed, chained to their desk, never can put their phone down or escape their email. And I had built companies that I could own without having to be there to operate all the time. So I started teaching people. So I still own all those, or not all, but I still own a bunch of companies. But just about 3 years ago, I started teaching people my formula for building up a real business. Instead of being self-employed, how to own a real business asset that would pay you, that you could do what you're great at inside the business, but also be free to leave for a week, a month, a year. In my case, I haven't even been to my largest company, Laughlin Associates. I haven't even been to the office in over 2 years. And so I do a weekly video conference with them. Everybody reports in. We keep on the same track, but I don't have to go to work. I don't have a job other than giving talks and they even asked me, we had our management call just before this interview, and they said, Aaron, when are you speaking? And I said, well, I'm speaking on Saturday and Sunday. And they said, but you're leaving the Thursday the week before. I said, yeah, I want to be there for the Portobello Road. I want to be there for the antique market on Saturday. And then my wife and I are going to do some things during the week, and then I'm going to work on Saturday and Sunday. And that's kind of how my life is. I'm going to give a talk in Orlando tomorrow. I'm going to fly tomorrow, but I'm gone for 8 days, and I'll be giving a talk for 1 hour. That's representative of the life I've built for myself. And all the while, I have, I don't know, 50 some employees that are working every day, that are doing things. It's not giant companies, but they're companies that make many millions of dollars. And I don't have a task other than chairman. And so I've been teaching other business owners how to do that to tremendous success. So I'm having a great time. I hit 50 and my life kind of got bigger and brighter than I ever even imagined it could be. And I thought it was pretty darn good before that. So that's how we help people. We teach them how to be a real business owner.
And I've got to say, I remember when Aaron shared that story with me for the first time. I think we were having a beer or something. And we were talking about the company because Aaron's company, Laughlin. Sorry, I always struggle pronouncing that. Laughlin Associates has helped me put all my companies in the US, and they've done a phenomenal service. And I remember I was talking to Aaron. He says, well, you know what? I'm going to have to put you in touch with the team because I haven't been in the office for the last 2 years. And I remember looking at him and saying, this is not right. But then on the other hand, I thought, this is so right. And this is what every entrepreneur should look up to. And I'm one of those that is literally stuck to the desk. And I'm working on that. I am really working on that this year in changing things and doing things differently.
Come hear me speak, Bernardo. We'll help you with that.
Listen, that's what I'm working, and that's why I'm working with you. But so the reason I'm saying this is because, look, there's a lot of people, especially in I suppose in this, I called the word industry, where people speak and they share their stories and they tell you how amazing they are. But Aaron is literally the man that is so down to earth and so genuine, but has not only a proven track record, but has a massive experience and is teaching people. So look, you do many things. So what does it take then, to have, what does it take to become someone who's enslaved behind the desk, like you were saying, to having complete financial independence? What does it take?
To break those chains?
Yes.
Well, see, it's a great question. And let me give you as concise an answer as I can. Most people who start a business or who call themselves business owners are actually self-employed. They were sick of working for someone else. They have some skill. So they said, I'm going to quit that job and I'm going to do it for myself. I'm going to, whatever they do, I'm going to write code. I'm going to build websites. I'm going to be a coach. I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be any number of things. But I'm going to do it under my own, brand or my own sign, my own shingle, we would say here in the United States. And what they do is they start out and they might be tremendously good at providing that service or building that product. But because they don't know much about how business works, they stay locked into sales and delivery, right? So they're working, they're selling, they're providing whatever they've promised, but they've stayed in that zone. They've stayed kind of like a startup business. And they've never, even if they've gotten bigger, they've done it by working more hours, more days, and putting more burden on themselves rather than starting off with an intentional outcome. What does the finish line look like? How do I define success? What's the team I'm going to need eventually to accomplish that success? And how do I very strategically bring in the next proper employee to do the next most critical task? So I'm taking that off of me and putting it onto somebody who probably can do it better than me anyway, and let that team start to grow. And my job goes from being the most critical employee to being the keeper of the vision and overseeing the employees. And eventually, look, most of the people that start companies suck as leaders. They're just not good. They're crummy employers. They just are, because they were really good at doing their thing, not at leading a big group of people. So as you grow, the best thing that I've found is you start to put great management teams in place who understand your vision, who will carry the torch, and who don't have any capacity to really do their own business, but they're great at leading. They're great at marketing, at sales, at finance, at IT, whatever. You put them in place, and then you just keep them all on task. That's what I've done every time. You go in, let's say you go in, you buy a company, and you may have to work your tail off for a little while, but most owners, most buyers would come in and work their tail off forever. I come in, change the culture, change the reporting, get people understanding this is how it works, and I extricate myself. And I've done it, I don't know, well over a dozen times, taken something that was a disaster area, built it up into a multi-million dollar company, and get myself further and further out of it to where I just own it or sell it. So the summary to that is most people never get out of startup mode. They stay in startup mode. They stay the most critical person. Some people, especially men, they love having a line outside their office door where everybody comes in and asks them a question and they know the answer. And then they go home and they say, man, I'm pretty smart. I was able to answer all the questions. You know, how clever am I? But if they're not there to answer the question, all those other people kind of fall apart. I think that is the worst form of enslavement, you know, from a business perspective there can be, that everybody is relying on you. You're getting all your juice from it. You know, you feel like a big shot, but the fact is you haven't really built anything that'll work. So if you get sick, if you all of a sudden get a parent who's got Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or something, and you have to go take care of them, odds are that enterprise that you've been working on is going to stumble or fall or die. And it's a shame that most companies are never in a position to be passed down to another generation or sold, because all the value is in the owner, not in something they've built that will run without them.
If you're interested in finding your true purpose, if you're interested in finding your legacy, if you're interested in growing, if you are sick and tired of reading books that don't help you, haven't helped you, or are not helping you, or attending courses and seminars that haven't really had an impact in your life, I invite you to read my book, The Question, Find Your True Purpose, out now. For more information, go to www.thequestion.co. If you're interested in working with me, contributing to the magazine, maybe speaking at any of our many events around the world, partnering or licensing The Best You, go to www.thebestyou.co. And obviously, you know, there's so many different business levels, you know, the entry-level startups, people that are, you know, just literally trying to build themselves as brands. Now, I know there's a lot of people that, you know, would probably say, well, the challenge we're having is to raise the funding or to have the money, you know, to find the team, because we all want a great team. But how do you start? Because obviously, you know, when you're looking at buying companies, you're at a different level. But how do you start? Because what I identify with, and not necessarily, you know, to the degree that you probably look into from a business point of view. But what I tend to find is that there's a lot of people that don't necessarily take action. They think too small, or they don't take action. How do you grow? How do you start?
Well, okay. First of all, let me preface by saying I have bootstrapped every single thing I've ever done. So I've never gone out and raised equity finance. I don't go out and get big loans from the bank. I'm not in a position because of the nature of the service businesses that I've tended to be in. I haven't needed a lot of money for inventory or anything like that. I've been able to bootstrap everything from the early days. Here's the answer to how you start and how many businesses can grow and scale without having to seek outside investors. I don't know how many people are on here, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings that's going to watch this, but let me be super clear. Many of the pursuits that people have decided to launch out in the market, their passion, their dream, the thing they think is so awesome, nobody wants it. Okay? Nobody wants that. They beat their heads against a wall trying to do something, and they go, I've spent all my savings, I've gone into debt, I've borrowed money from grandma and grandpa, and I'm trying so hard and I believe so strongly. But here's the deal. If the market doesn't want it, you're not going to succeed. Okay? So stop it. Everybody feels like they need to pursue their passion. And I'm going to put a twist on that. Most of the time, the market is not looking for your passion, but you can provide something that the market wants, that there's a demand for, whether it's a product or a service. You can do that in such a way that it makes a real impact on people's lives, both your customers, your employees, your vendors. You make money and you're able to contribute and donate and support causes. And, you can get very passionate. I don't think making shoes is a big deal for Toms, but giving away a pair of shoes for everyone we sell here, we give one away to somebody who's maybe never had a pair of shoes. You can get passionate about that. Those crummy little sneakers are not that great, but the idea behind it, you can get passionate about. And so find a hole in the market. Find something that's not being done or being done poorly. Do it better. Do it faster. Do it with a little bit of magic associated with it. And people will fall in love with you. And then you'll see the result of the work you're doing making a difference in people's lives. You get passionate about that. So many people struggle because they're fighting an uphill battle or an impossible battle. If you will quit thinking that the idea that you came up with is so freaking magic, and start looking for what others are seeking and then provide it for them, you'll get rich. As a matter of fact, Keith Cunningham says, here's the formula to get rich. Find out what people want, go out and get it, and give it to them. That's how you get rich. Zig Ziglar talked about, if you want to get everything you want, go out and help 1,000 other people get what they want, right? And you'll get what you want. But the problem that I meet with so many small business owners who struggle and die in the first 5 years is they're trying to push something that nobody wants or that is already widely available, and they're not doing it in a different way. They're not coming up with their own spin. If you're a massage therapist, there's a massage therapist in this building here. There's 2 places in this complex that I'm in. How do they differentiate themselves? They're going to rub your back for 60 minutes, right? How do you become the one that people seek out, that write the reviews about, that give you 5 stars, that introduce their friends? You have to find some way to differentiate yourself, and to then, people are buying this for this dollar. This is fair. This is fair. If I can give them a tiny, tiny bit, something extra that they didn't expect, then I get exponential results. I get exponential love. If I exceed the agreement that we made, even if I'm selling them a can of soup, if I can just do something a little bit more, selling something dull, selling mousetraps, selling light bulbs, it doesn't matter. If you meet your contract and exceed it a little bit, you'll become the most popular. You'll become the most valuable. People will flock to you. They'll buy from you. But if you just, if it's all transactional, or you're not special, or you're promoting something that's not in demand, I was going to say something that sucks, but you're not going to make money. You're not going to be successful. Is that too hard? I hope I'm not being too hard.
No, I absolutely loved it, Aaron, and it was so great. I mean, because you were saying everything that makes so much sense. And I think that the lovely thing about what you were saying is I use the word passion a lot, and I get it. But if your passion is driven to the wrong way, well, passion will take you nowhere. Passion is great, but you need to have that self-awareness, and I think that's what happens sometimes. We are so centered in our product, our dream, our vision, that we don't disassociate ourselves from what we're actually trying to do here objectively, which is what I suppose, great, successful business people do. That's great advice.
Yeah. Let me tell you, Bernardo, I go to, and you and I have been at some of these events together, and you meet these lovely, lovely people who have these big hearts, and they say, I want to start a nonprofit, and I'm going to, do something. They're going to do something. Save cats, save, pure water for kids there, start a school, work with, do sports for people that are disabled, horse therapy for the veterans, whatever. There are all these wonderful ideas. And they want to start a nonprofit because they figure everybody will give them money. And then with that money, they can do what they want to do, which is almost always trying to exercise some demon that they've got, right? They have a family member who's got that illness. They were sexually abused. They were, a friend committed suicide because of PTSD. So now they're going to go solve that by starting a nonprofit. And they really believe, because they've had something close to them that created a tremendous emotional experience. And they're like, man, I don't want anybody else to have those feelings. I want to save the day before that happens to somebody else. And I'll get to feel better because I'm doing something that seems like, a great thing to do for humanity. Okay, I love that. But if you look at who's doing the very most through their nonprofits to make significant change in the world, I'm going to tell you, it's the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, with most of Bill Gates' fortune and Warren Buffett's fortune.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. These guys went out and did things like built software, railroads, insurance companies, underwear, right? Fruit of the Loom underwear for Warren Buffett. Coca-Cola investor. Yeah, all that stuff. And then through these for-profit, in demand by the market, they make their money. They take a portion of it, or most of it now in their case, and put it into a place to do good work. Most of the lovely people that we meet don't have two nickels to rub together.
Yeah, yeah.
But they want everybody to give them money for their passion. And I'm suggesting, if you spend as much effort trying to solve a problem in the market, make money, earmark part of it for charitable causes, and then become philanthropic, you'll not only have money here, have employees, be doing good in the market, but you're going to be able to do things that turn you on, light your fire, and make you feel good. I love the philanthropic stuff I do, but you won't find anywhere on my social media or my CV anything about me being a philanthropist. The things I do because I want to do them. I don't do them for other people's praise or adulation. But I can do it because I've built a number of companies that throw off lots of money. Now I can help. And I think if people want to pursue passion, the fastest way to do it is either get passionate about what you're already doing. even if it's not your passion, or make a lot of money over here and then pursue your passion with power, and not from a position of somebody with their hand out.
Yeah, no, listen, 100% completely agree. There's many people out there that want to make a difference, but they don't have the right foundations in order to go out there and change it. A couple of questions I've got for you, Aaron. So tell me about your program, the Unshackled Owner, which I know is a tremendous success, and you've been you share this all over the world and you train. So tell me about this program of yours.
Yeah, this is. As I said sort of at the beginning, the Unshackled Owner class, the training that I do, it spawned because I was invited to be the opening keynote speaker for something called the Exit Planning Institute, which is an accreditation here in the United States for lawyers and CPAs who want to specialize in helping successful privately owned companies get sold. So here's all these lawyers and CPAs, right? And I'm thinking, why in the world are they inviting me to teach them with all their education and all this stuff? Well, they said, because Aaron, you actually buy companies and sell companies. So you know what the buyer and the seller need to do to accomplish the goal. So I went and I gave this talk, and it was like Moses coming down with the commandments or something. I couldn't believe all how much energy that and so much praise that got heaped on me for this thing, because I really wondered if I was giving them a remedial course. Instead, I was giving them the law. So I thought, well, let me offer this to some of my business owner clients, and we just had this tremendous response. So I teach this class. It's an 8-week class, and 1 hour a week with homework that basically is my formula for how to rethink your business or start properly in a brand new business to build a business that will work harder for you than you work for it, where you're not the most critical employee, but you create a circumstance where you're the chairman of the board, you're owning it rather than being the president. You're the chairman more than the president. That doesn't mean you won't work hard, but you're working to move through stages. Instead of staying a wealthy startup, you become an incredibly wealthy owner of another asset. And the class has had tremendous success. We've had everybody from car dealerships to waste treatment facilities to hedge funds and law firms to bottled water delivery to publishing to just engineering firms. I just got called by an engineering firm yesterday that wanted to take the class. From 4 or 5 employees to over 2,000 employees, from $700,000 a year in revenue to $100 million in revenue. I mean, the whole gambit.
Sorry to interrupt you. Is this program?
Jump in.
Is your program then? First of all, it's for everyone and anyone. So it's not only for Americans. It's because I know you're speaking in the UK.
It'll work anywhere in the world.
It will work for anywhere in the world. And then for those that are already thinking, oh my God, 8 weeks. So tell us, what is the format? Is it once a week? Is it how many hours?
It's just like this. So we get on Zoom, and I've had clients from all over the world get on Zoom, and I teach a lesson, and then I open it up for questions. And it's 1 hour a week for 8 weeks. There's some homework, which you're not obligated to turn in, but because I'm the one looking at your homework and then reviewing it with you. And I get $2,000 an hour to do private consulting. So I would say you should take advantage of it. If I'm saying on the phone and talk about your organizational charter, about how you're hiring or how you're, and anyway, all the different things, all the financials and all the things we cover. So I help the people get through. It's why I limit the number of people in the class to only 10 companies per time. And then once you've completed the class, you can come back and repeat it every time I teach it, which is usually every other month. So you have the new class and then you have the alumni. So I might have 10 people in a class and then 10 more who've come over the last several years, and they've made progress in their business. Now they need to get a reminder on, okay, how do I do this next part? And they ask more sophisticated questions than the new people. So the new people are getting the benefit of hearing a question from somebody who's been doing this now for a while, and it lifts everybody. And it's very, very simple to do. What's hard is to change your behavior from what you've been doing, which has gotten you to wherever you are, compared to where you want to go. And I can give you all kinds of examples. The suffice to say, if somebody will have the courage to experiment on the way I teach them, the new way I teach them to operate their business, if they'll just have the courage to try, they will get significantly better results. They will get more free time, and they will see themselves start to grow in ways they didn't even imagine they could, because they're managing their team and their other assets differently than they are now. And I'm just telling you, we've taken companies that were doing $1 million and now they're doing $5 million. I had one guy this year that within 6 months he had multiplied his revenue, which was already $10 million a year on selling on Amazon. He quadrupled his revenue and significantly improved his bottom line by simply reorienting how he was operating. And that's just one little dinky example.
If you're interested in watching the video content of this interview and many others, or interested in learning from world leaders and teachers, go to www.thebestyou.online. Well, one of the things, and thank you, Aaron, one of the things that, one of the reasons that I came up with the idea of the Best You and the Best You Expo was simply to provide people, individuals, businesses with, all the necessary skills to go out and model and learn from the best. I've always thought it's a very generous, world industry. There's so many great people with some fantastic talent. And look, I don't know how many of the listeners here today have a degree, have a business degree. I don't know how many of you have actually studied or read or really gone into detail around business, but my experience is that it's very, very few. So, understanding business is such an important part. And obviously, attending courses, reading, so look, this is essential. And it doesn't matter what you do. If you're a solopreneur, entrepreneur, if you're a startup, if you're already halfway there, you're always going to learn these phenomenal skills. So obviously, I would highly recommend you join Aaron. And I mean it, and I've said this, but he is the genuine package. He does really, he's got a track record, but also, kind of, hey, listen, the man doesn't pop into his company, hasn't been there for 2 years. So, and all he's always traveling all over the place. And I know you're coming with your missus and she's going to be shopping and it's going to cost you a little bit of money to come down to London. We know that.
Oh, we love shopping in London. We don't have it. We have nothing like Selfridges or Harrods in the United States. So it's a whole different world. But, let me just say one thing. And I know you probably want to keep this short, Bernard, but I went to 1 year of what's called over here called junior college. I had very poor grades in high school. So at 18, I couldn't get into university. So I went to 1 year of a junior college, a 2-year school. I went into their music program, their show choir program, and spent the entire school year touring the United States and Canada. I don't even think I got grades my 1 year of college. And during that time, I started my first company and grew it into 5,000 clients, 4 employees, sold it, started my next company, sold it, started my next company, got recruited by the public company, quit there after 3 years, started buying up companies. There's a great saying, it might be Zig Ziglar again, that says, formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. And my experience is that I've hired the lawyers, in-house, under my ceiling, the lawyers, the accountants, the MBAs, the PhDs have worked for me over the years and do even some right now. And I'm telling you, there's a very small sliver of people who are really going to make it as an entrepreneur. And those people have a unique way of looking at the world. But that X-ray vision that they've got doesn't necessarily make them qualified to be a great leader of a business. And what I'm trying to do now is explain what I've learned, including what I've learned about what I'm not good at. Right? I'm a good visionary. I'm a good leader, but I'm crummy at a lot of stuff. And you want to surround yourself with people who play at the things you have to work at. You know, who just they just innately get the stuff that's a real challenge for you. And when you can organize yourself in a proper fashion so that you get out of the way, you quit being the roadblock to progress, and you have the courage to bring in that one great first person, and then the next one, and then the next one. And maybe you're paying them more than you're paying yourself. Maybe you're doing like Mark Cuban, you know, eating ketchup packets he's getting from the McDonald's restaurant, until you hit a certain point. And then all of a sudden what you find is that you're not trading your time for money. And what you've actually built, maybe this is going to sound weird, but it just popped to my mind. Maybe you've built a flock of geese who lay the golden eggs, right? And now all you have to do is make sure you give them a little food, give them a little water, and they'll just pump out the golden eggs. Yeah. And that's how you become really successful. It's not by being the best person at every job in your company. It's being the one who holds the vision and brings in the best people to slowly but steadily grow the company into an asset and not a glorified job. And that's what I'm going to be trying to communicate in a few short minutes, both on the main stage and then in one of the breakouts in England, in London, in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks.
Absolutely. And that's what I wanted to add. So for those of you that are listening either now or recorded, I recommend you obviously come and see us at the Expo. If you're listening to this before, that's in 3 weeks' time. Aaron's going to be sharing. What is the titles of your talk, Aaron? What will you be sharing? And I know you're sharing this in both stages at different dates, but what are you sharing?
Yeah, it's because I'm on Saturday and Sunday. One's at 10 and one's at 11 in the morning. But I'm going to be talking about how to become an unshackled owner. I noticed that on the website it says how to own your business, which I understand why it says that, but we may change that because I want people to get this idea. Here's what I've learned, Bernardo. When I say unshackled owner, the ideal customer for me goes, that's me. I'm shackled. Tell me what that is, because I feel like a slave to my business. Those people will self-identify. They'll know if it's the right presentation to come into for them. And I'll give them absolutely specific things to start doing immediately to begin to break those chains and to be a better business owner. So I thought about doing 2 different presentations, but I really am hopeful that this message will resonate with the audience. You guys get such a good audience. I was so impressed there at Olympia London last year with the quality of the attendees, the interesting questions that I got. Even what you did in Long Beach, which was the first time doing it over here in the US, you still got a really good audience, really good people. My rooms, when I got to speak, were packed. And it's all great people. I think you've built something that speaks to those people who want to live a full, well-rounded, holistic life. And that includes health and wellness, but also being healthy financially. And I think what you've built is something quite unusual and special. And I speak every week somewhere around the world, and there isn't anything else that is really like the best you. So I'm delighted to continue to be involved.
I'm very thankful that you're there. This is our 4th year. We've grown from strength to strength, and I know this year is particularly very interesting. There's a great buzz around the event. It's going to be packed. We had probably around very close to 12,000 people last year, so we're expecting more. And we're doing an awards on the Friday, so make sure that I know you and the missus are going to be busy, but pencil that evening in, Aaron. We want you
I'll try to do it. That's actually that night is our 32nd anniversary.
Oh my God! Well then, hey, listen, I would forgive you for that, but it's fine. Listen, we're going to be there at the awards. It's going to be great, and there's loads of familiar faces of yours. We've got loads of great people coming from the US as well, so it's going to be a great event.
Several terrific friends of mine I know will be there, and a lot of good people. You've attracted a tremendous group, so I my hat's off to you, Bernardo, and I'm looking forward to meeting the people who avail themselves of the opportunity. I'm going to come from Washington State. So that's the most northwest part of the continental United States. I'm going to travel all the way across the continent, all across the ocean, and then from wherever I'm staying to Olympia, London. So if you live in the greater, if you live in the UK or you live in close by European nations, I mean, for heaven's sake, invest the hour or two it's going to take you to get there. I see you can go by train now, 2.5 hours from Paris to London?
Yeah, absolutely. And
3.5 hours from Amsterdam? Yeah, I'm like, heaven's sake, get on a freaking train.
I know. And you know what? We get loads of people that came from Northern Ireland. We get a lot of people that came from Scotland. We have loads of people coming from Europe. So now it's becoming what it is, an international event. And look, and apart from that, I personally, one of the things that I really promote, and we're going to finish now, but one of the things that I really promote is the idea of obviously going global and how we are potentially all global because, hey, we're on social media and we're connecting with people. But one of the things that I think people really tend to underestimate is the value of the connection. So one, look, if you're going to come and learn about business skills, well, come and listen to Aaron. But apart from that, if you're genuinely interested in getting into the US market and expanding over there is something that's of interest to you, which is of phenomenal interest to me, the best you, we're going to the US and spending a lot of time. We've got some really ambitious plans over there. Then Aaron, again, he has a phenomenal company that advises, all sorts of individuals and businesses on what to do. This is really important, on what to do in order to, set yourself up properly in the US. So that's just another angle for any of the speakers, attendees that want to come and see Aaron. So I highly recommend you come and see him.
48 years, that company, Bernardo, 48 years, hundreds of thousands of business owners from all over the world. And we welcome people that are coming into the United States, and we've got a whole practice based around that. So thank you for bringing that up.
It's really important because, I'm in the US now, and I'm in the US thanks to your help and thanks to the help of the amazing team you have. And people underestimate that, but it's scary. The US is a big market. There's so many states, so much different legislation.
So many rules, so many things to know.
Things to know, which have vital, can have vital repercussions for you in the future. So, making sure that you work or speak with the right company is essential. So apart from everything else that you can from Aaron, learning and using, his company or his connections in order to get over there is a must for anyone that's going to come and say hi.
Thanks.
Aaron, thank you so much. Take care.
See you real soon, my friend.
Take care.
Okay,
all the
bye-bye.
best. Cheers. Bye. Thank you, everyone. I wanted to thank you all for being here today, and I look forward to seeing you in one of our next talks. Thank you so much. Bye. Bye, Aaron. Cheers. For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.